Hi guys, welcome back to this week's Technical Insight. The US stock closed last Friday's session with weekly losses as Wall Street August struggles continue. The Dow Jones Index added 25 points or roughly 0.07% higher to close at 34,500 points. The S&P 500 was almost flat but was lower by 0.01%, finishing at 4,369 points. Tech-heavy NASDAQ composite slipped 0.2%, ending the week at 13,290 points. Shares of major tech companies including Facebook, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, and Alphabet continued their decline for the rest of the week as well. For the whole week, the Dow ended lower by 2.21%, its worst weekly finish since March this year. The S&P 500 meanwhile fell 2.11%, and registered a 3 straight week of losses, a streak that hasn't happened since the February of this year. The NASDAQ Composite Index for the week sank 2.59%, tumbling for a third consecutive losing week, a first since December of last year. Overall, the US equity markets are now rethinking their optimism from July, where we had the soft landing narrative. The recent pullback in stocks came a day following the release of the Federal Reserve meeting minutes, which suggested further increase in interest rate could be ahead as inflation concerns remain high from recent data. Investors have key developments looming in the approaching weeks, including commentary from the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell at the Central Bank Jackson Hole Annual Symposium. Traders will also have an eye on chip powerhouse NVIDIA as it issues its earnings next week. Singapore stocks ended the week as well in the red on Friday, booking declines for the sixth straight trading session. Benchmark STI index retreated 22 points or 0.71% to 3,173 points. Losers outnumber gainers 372 to 246 as 1.2 billion shares worth 1.1 billion were traded. Regional indices were largely down on Friday as well. Hong Kong Hang Seng Index tumbled 2.05% in the final hour of trade, while the Hang Seng Tech Index fell 3.63%. This fall tracked the overnight Wall Street losses, which declined for the third straight session overnight. The top and only winner on the STI index was Wilmar International. It ticked up about 0.28% or 1 cent to close at $3.60. The biggest loser on the STI index was Sembcorp Industry, which lost about 3.5% or 20 cents to close at $5.38. The top gainer of Singapore REIT was Digital Core REIT, which rose about 1.92 cents to close at 53 cents, while the top losers for Singapore REIT was Manulife REIT, which crashed about 7.06% to close at 7.9 cents. The top traded stock for last Friday is SIA, which lost about 3.2% to close at $6.88. All three Singapore local banks ended in the week in the red as well. DBS sank 0.15% or 5 cents to close at $32.72. UOB fell 0.64% or 18 cents to close at $27.93, while OCBC Bank dropped 0.32% or 4 cents to close at $12.27. So for this week's technical analysis, we will be looking at Sembcorp Industry as well as Wilmar. So first, let's look at Sembcorp Industry. Sembcorp Industry is a multinational energy and utilities company headquartered in Singapore. The current share price as of 18 August last Friday was $5.38. The daily chart of Sembcorp Industry shows that the price has been on an uptrend since the beginning of the year and reached a year-to-date high of $6.05 on 8 of August. The price has recently broke below the 20-day moving average of $5.61 and the 50-day moving average of $5.51, which signals that near-term weakness is in the prices. The Bollinger Band, a technical indicator that measure volatility, are plotted 2 standard deviations above and below the 20-day moving average. The Bollinger Band of Sembcorp Industry is currently expanding on the lower bound of the Bollinger Band, which indicates that volatility is increasing towards the downside. This could signal that the uptrend that we see since the beginning of the year may be reversing soon. The RSI, which is a momentum indicator, measures the speed and magnitude of price changes. The RSI for Sembcorp Industry is currently reading at 42, which is below the 50-point neutral mark, suggesting that the momentum is weak right now. The MACD, on the other hand, is a trend following indicator. The MACD for Sembcorp industry is currently negative, and the MACD histogram is seen expanding towards the downside, which signals the rising negative momentum in the prices right now. The MACD line has also crossed below the signal line last week on 16th of August, indicating a change of trend towards the downside. Overall, technical indicators are suggesting that weakness in Sembcorp industry share price is likely to continue until they reach a stronger support around the June 2023 low at the level of $4.90, or even the red color line, which is the 200 days moving average at $4.17. Next, let's look at Wilmar International, which is a Singapore-listed company focusing on palm oil and agriculture businesses. The shares are currently trading around the $3.60 level as of last Friday, 18 August close. The year-to-date chart of Wilmar International shows that prices have been in a range-bound trend since the beginning of the year. The price has recently broke below the support of $3.59, which was the low we observed in June this year. The Bollinger Band of Wilmar is currently expanding both on the upper bound as well as the lower bound, which indicate that volatility is increasing. The 20 days moving average and the 50 days moving average indicated as the white and the amber line is currently slightly negative or neutral, which confirms the recent downtrend that we see and may act as a resistance level for Wilmar International in the near term. The RSI, which measures the momentum for Wilmar International share price, is currently at 29, which is in the oversold territory. This suggests that the downtrend may be nearing a bottom and could very well reverse upward. The MACD for Wilmar International is currently negative, but as you can see in the last two trading sessions, it is starting to turn upwards. This suggests that the downtrend momentum that you see right now is starting to lose strength or lose momentum. So overall, the technical analysis of Wilmar International suggests that the indicators are starting to show signs that the downtrend that we see may be losing momentum, and last Friday closing price of $3.60 could be a good entry price to go along and target the 50 days moving average, which is the midterm resistance level at $3.80, or even the 200 days moving average, which is the long-term resistance at $3.90. So that's all I have for this week's video. If you find this useful, do give us a like or a share, and we'll see you again next week in the next Technical Insight.